Don't be fooled by a job title. In the data space, the same role in different companies can mean totally different things. In some companies, they might say they want a data scientist when really what they need is a data analyst, or they might be hiring for a data analyst when the job scope's really about data engineering. So how do you tell what a company really needs? I recently spoke with Chris Davis, a full-stack data professional based in Detroit that I met over a data project. And we discussed a wide range of issues around life in the industry and what it takes to build a career in data. Chris gave 2 tips. First, get a sense of the company's data maturity by carefully reading through their job description. And second, ask questions of the company's leadership to understand how invested they are in building a competitive edge by using data. Here's a clip from our chat. It's so different how different companies approach data.
Yeah.
And there can be so many variables, right? One could be the size, what are the legacy systems, what is the management's attitude towards it? The same role could be data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, same title. It means totally different things in different companies based on where they're at. Yeah. Have you figured out how you can tell whether a company is the right kind of company to join for a data setup, or like other telltale signs, or what you look out for?
I think one of the first telltale signs is like the job description. How is it written? And so if you've got a data analyst role, but they're talking about machine learning, that tells me that they probably don't know what they're hiring for. And I know in some places, like in the requirements, they give you a broad list of tools, platforms, and things like that maybe they're just trying to be attractive to people. Like if you come from a Redshift shop, they don't want to, even though they're on BigQuery, they don't want to dissuade you type of thing. But I think sometimes people just they regurgitate what they read online into these job descriptions. If you're looking for, 8+ years of experience in this programming language or whatever, reading the job description is probably the first barrier to, or the first information point, right, to gather whether or not they have a data culture there. If you read a job description and it seems like, I don't know if they know what they're talking about, right, there's really those 2 options of they don't know what they're talking about, but they're really, really trying to figure it out. And so being able to ask questions about, existing solutions and what the plans are, how do you see data playing a role, I think are important. And especially from leadership, being able to say, no, we know this is going to really enable our competitive advantage, and we're willing to invest to figure out how to make that work. We might not have the answers, but that's where you come in, and we want to be able to do that. I think answers like that are very good signs that, okay, this might be a good org to join. The downside is when people think about data and analytics as reporting, because that's not what it is, exclusively. And so if they think about, if they're talking about dashboards, they're talking about reports, but detached from business value, that's the place where you're probably going to hate that job within a year. Because I don't care how many reports or dashboards you build, if you're not a part of driving the business, right? If you don't, I feel like these analysts or analytics roles should be like internal consulting jobs, in that you want to understand how the business works. You need to because at the end of the day, these processes are what generate your data. And so if you don't understand how the processes work, then you can't really truly understand the data, nor can you really reason about recommendations for what the process might look like. When it comes to the data, I really truly feel like when you're evaluating organizations, it has to be something that you feel like this is going to be a partnership versus you're going to be churning reports out. Now, if some people just like produce reports because in doing so, you are kind of creating a storybook for the company, and that part is significant. And so for me, I do think that's important. But at the end of the day, I've seen so many occasions where people want to go from that report to drill into something, and so that report is always the starting point to asking more interesting questions. And so for me, that's the big thing is, how interested are we into getting to those interesting questions, and what support will there be to enable being able to ask and answer those questions are the big signs.